Going live. Okay, I think we are live. I think we're live, folks. I think. Looks like it. Yeah. Let's see. Let's back to camera one. Camera one. So we will go officially live here in about 4 minutes. If I can get a sound check from somebody out there. Who's on here with me? Eric, how are you doing, sir? Tell me how your new project is going. Your Atomic American Adventures, something like that. Am I saying that right? I might not be getting that right. Man, I love that old Cadillacs and Dinosaurs comic. I know. I think I saw that you were using some of that artwork for your setting. Sounds like a lot of fun. And you know what? A perfect setting for Pulp Alley too. Just anything goes kind of setting. Just looks like a lot of fun. Atomic Amazon Americans. Okay, Atomic Amazon Americans. I was missing the Amazon part on that. What a great little setting for a Pulp Alley scenario. Mr. Jim Stute is on here. Hello, Jim Stute. Thank you for jumping on here with us today. We will go officially live in about 3 minutes. Let's see if I can. Not going to be a very long video. Just however long it is however long it is. Let's see if I can get this to work. Battery's kind of low, but it's hard for me to see the chat. Yep. 1950s style. That'll be a lot of fun. Let's see here. A lot of crazy stuff. Let's see if I can get this to work. So we started our campaign. I don't want to talk about that yet because I'm going to go over all of that. We have about 2 minutes before the official start. Jim, thank you so much for jumping on here. Let's see if anybody else is on here. No, that's okay. That's okay. Yeah. You know, and the 50s is sometimes considered like the end of the pulp era. For me, I kind of consider it to be the 40s. So many of the pulp magazines shut down in the 40s due to paper shortages, increased prices, increased competition. TV was coming on board, and the kids just weren't, buying the books like they were. So there were a lot of reasons why the pulps kind of phased out. If you're talking, purely, if you're basing it purely off of, the pulp magazines. But one of them, I don't remember which it was. It may have been Amazing Tales or something like that, was still publishing into the 50s before they stopped. And then, of course, they switched over to the Slicks, the men's magazines, with, men's adventure magazines and stuff like that. Also, comic books coming on board around that time, TV coming out, movies, still being pretty prevalent as well. So a lot of competitions for that extra dime a week. So Let's see. We are starting. Hey, everybody, this is Dave here at Pulp Alley, and this is just going to be a quick update about our Perilous Island campaign that just started. Our first game was on Sunday. Very, very cool. If you're not familiar with it, this is our very first Pulp Alley campaign that was written for Pulp Alley. Gosh, when was that released? When was this released? Back in... the Wall of Fame says June 24th, 2013. So that was a few moons ago. So very cool. Now, eventually, I would like to update this to second edition. But this is the old first edition. Absolutely no reason why you couldn't use it, but it's kind of long in the tooth now. There are some things as I read through it that I think, you know what, I wish I could do that a little bit different now. But wonderful campaign. It is a globetrotting campaign. It starts out in Hidalgo, Mexico, and then it goes to Morocco, and then Greece, and then Dutch Indonesia, and then finally to Perilous Island out in the middle of the Indian Ocean is where we have it set. So lots of fun. Lots of fun. So after the first scenario, and we've changed up a little bit because Lady Elaine is now a character in one of our leagues, but originally Lady Elaine was a personality in the original campaign. So we've renamed her Susan, is the character, the personality from the campaign. So 2 leagues showed up in Hidalgo, Mexico, at an archaeological site there to get a hold of Susan. One of them simply to help her and find out where her father is, hopefully. But the other league, Minerva's Mercenaries, they were there to kidnap her and force her to hand over some information. So at the end of that scenario, Minerva's Mercenaries came out on top, carried Susan off, got away with her, and so they ended up winning the first round in Hidalgo Fire, which, interestingly enough, the first scenario is called Hidalgo Fire. And we forgot the fire part of it. On turn 4, there were supposed to be these fire bursts, fire bombs that go off around the camp, which are kind of interesting, can cause some extra problems. Just all of us just totally whiffed on it and just completely forgot about the turn 4 special event that was supposed to occur. I don't know how many of you got to see it. I don't know if this is updating. No, this isn't updating. I don't know why this thing doesn't keep track of the chat very good. Who else is on here? Vern Jeske is on here. Hello, Mortis005. Hugh Thompson is on here. Phil is on here. Very good. Thank you guys for jumping on here. Let me see if there's any comments that I need to respond to. Commander Cody. Yep. Let's see. I remember my dad. Argosy. Yeah. Argosy was really what you would consider to be one of the very, very first pulps. They were the ones that kind of set the pattern or the tradition that a lot of other magazines then followed. So we actually do an homage to Argosy, of course, in Pulp Alley, because Pops, one of the characters in, he's now in the Vice Alley League, his last name is Argosy, so Pops Argosy. I don't know, this thing is useless. I don't know why I don't see all the chat. Yeah, no reason to have this in front of me because I can't actually see what you guys are saying. So after the first scenario, and man, you talk about a roller coaster ride. It was so cool. If you missed the Sunday game, don't worry. It is recorded. It is out there on the interwebs for you to watch. You got to go back and watch it. Only about an hour and a half. Definitely worth a watch. At the start of the scenario, Minerva's Mercenaries started off as the director, and I thought they were going to do pretty good there for a while. But as they got into turn 2, just as Minerva was about to go grab a hold of Susan, I think he made a mistake on one of his activations, and and he ended up turning over control of the director to Michael, who then took advantage of that and ran out there and got a hold of Susan and took off with her. So from like turn 2, turn 3, turn 4, turn 5, it really looked like it really looked like the Dundee Scholars were doing really good, and all of Minerva's henchmen, you know, those 3 mercenaries that hang out with her all the time, all 3 of her henchmen were knocked out of play. She was basically down to just Ramjeet and Minerva at the end of the scenario. But there it was. There it happened. And on turn number 5, I believe they got the initiative back. Minerva did, and she was able to run Elaine down and cause enough damage that Susan got away. And then she ran out there and captured that plot point, I think, like on the just about on the last turn. What a cliffhanger! What a nail biter all the way to the end. That was a really fun scenario. Definitely worth a watch. And I guess I'll throw it out there that we have 4 leagues going through our Perilous Island campaign, but there's no reason why you couldn't play along at home as well. So if you have the Perilous Island book, then you take the opportunity to play through it and compare your results to how our folks are doing on Sundays. So as we end this Sunday, our very first Sunday, Michael ended up getting a big goose egg. So he did not get any plot points at the end of the scenario. So he didn't get any reputation. He didn't get any resources. He didn't get any victory points because of that one plot point that he lost right there at the tail end of the scenario. The Minerva's mercenaries, on the other hand, came out swinging and are jumped ahead. So they ended up getting not only the major plot point, but they also picked up a minor plot point. So that puts them up to 4 reputation. So unlike our other scenarios that we've been playing on Sundays, we're going to start keeping track of that. So so far, Minerva's mercenaries are in the lead with 4 reputation. That's a pretty good start. She also has 1 backup point and 1 experience point. So the next time she plays, maybe we'll see her use some of those things. Hard to say. I suspect that she won't use that experience point for a while. She'll try and hold on to that, but that's great stuff. So let's talk about Final Flight. Will you guys chat with me a little bit about this one? Final Flight is a really unusual scenario. It's the second scenario. And in this one, as far as the story is concerned, they left Hidalgo and they've gone over to Morocco, and now they're in Casablanca, where they're trying to get transportation to get them all the way to Athens. Unfortunately, there's a little bit of unrest going on in Casablanca, and the French authorities are shutting down transportation. They're shutting down the train and the ports, just for official business. So there's 1 flight left that's going to be leaving Casablanca. So Michael is playing, again, the Dundee Scholars, and they want to make sure that they can get out of Casablanca before the final flight leaves. So that's what they are here doing. They've come to the Casablanca airport. They've got to get tickets, and then they've got to get on the plane and get away. So here they are over here. You can see them set up here. And all they have to, the first stop is to avoid my giant finger coming down and smashing them. The first step is to go over here to the ticket counter and get tickets. And then they have to make sure they have Susan, who will then appear out here somewhere. Because she's wandered off on her own, and then they'll have to gather up Susan again and then head towards the plane over there. So I'll move the camera real quick for you. So there is the plane where they can load on. So it's a fairly simple idea, but here to stop them are the Raven Squadron. And here is the Raven Squadron over here. They do not want the Dundee scholars to leave Casablanca yet, especially not with Susan. So they've been sent in here to try to stop them. And you'll see right here is a package. So that is their first objective, is to get this package. After they get that package, it will identify a mechanic that they need to see. And then that mechanic will then help them to stop the airplanes to make sure that it's not able to leave Casablanca. So those are the things that they have to do. This is a fun scenario, I think, because there's so many cool little special rules in it. One, the French authorities are all over the place. So if you start shooting, if you start fighting, if you start making yourself a nuisance, you become wanted, and the entire table is perilous for you then, and you have to draw a peril every single turn if you start fighting and making yourself a nuisance. So that's something you have to be kind of cognizant of and be thoughtful of, that as soon as you start shooting, then you're going to be, that character is going to be wanted by the authorities, and they're going to be trying to bring them in for questioning. The other thing that's interesting is that this scenario includes the red herring cards. Oh, the red herring cards. So every time you go up and you complete one of these plot points, you're going to draw a reward, right? You're going to draw a reward. But there is a chance every time that you could get the red herring card. And what that represents is, finding out that what you thought, you were doing wasn't the right thing to be doing. Like, you could come up here and you could get this box and you could get past the peril and you could get past the plot point challenge, and you draw a card, and then you find out, oh my gosh, guess what? That wasn't the right box after all. So every time you do this, and then, but if you draw one of the other cards, and that means you get to put out the mechanic, you go over to the mechanic and you complete that challenge, and then you draw one of the blue cards. But what if you draw the red herring? Oh my gosh, that was not the right mechanic. Oh, you're looking for Buzz. He's over there by them boxes over there. So the red herrings can really throw a wrench into your plans in this scenario, and the players are desperate every time they draw. It's like, oh, I don't want to draw the red herring. I don't want to draw the red herring. You can normally get through this scenario even if you get one red herring. If you draw two red herrings, it's going to be very, very difficult. What's also fun, every time a red herring is drawn, it is removed from the scenario. But what's also means, though, is as you go through it, if the red herrings are not drawn, then the probability of getting a red herring later on goes up. Oh, this is a fun one, boys and girls. This is a fun one. This is scenario number 2 coming up on Sunday. It's going to be Vern playing the Raven Squadron, and Michael Greenhill once again bringing in the Dundee Scholars. Lots of fun. Do not miss this. Our next video will be on Thursday, though, so watch for that one. And I guess I'm gonna check the chat real quick, which I've got to walk off camera for, because I'm not smart enough to know how to make my tablet keep track of the chat. I'm gonna walk over to the chat and see if there's any comments that I need to answer right now. Let's see who's on here. Jim Stute. I remember reading my dad's old Argosy, waiting for my copy to arrive. Phil, I would have hoped that was there by now, doggone it. Oh, yeah, Commander Cody's helmet, all of his little switches and everything. Did watch the live. Final Flight is a neat scenario. Okay, I guess we're going to call, where did you get that plane? I'm looking for something like that. This is... the plane that I'm using out here is, it's a Colt. I don't remember exactly the company that makes them, but the things that I was looking for when I look for airplanes, because the style that I look for is I look for fixed landing gear. So I don't like retractable landing gear for the time period that I play in. So it had to have fixed landing gear. I wanted a plane that was big enough to look like it was a passenger plane, which this is, and also liked the idea that it had the bi-wings going. Um, so pretty cool plane. I'll try to remember. It's a that's a Russian plane from probably World War II era. Fairly famous, and I think they still use them even today. Um, Part of the reason why these planes are still in use for today is because of their really low airspeed that they can maintain and still stay in the air. So they're able to use those really short runways and things like that for like Alaska or Siberia, just around. So really cool plane, but it's called a Colt. I don't remember exactly the manufacturer, but 1/48 scale. That was also something else I was looking for. And also wanted a plane that didn't have a particularly big wingspan, because a lot of like a Yonkers or something like that almost has, in this scale, almost has like an 18-inch wingspan, and this one is a few inches shorter than that. So it's a great plane for this scenario because it doesn't take up an enormous amount of table space. All right. I guess that's it. I'll look up the. I'll try to find the box because I don't ever throw those away. I'll try to find the box and leave a note down in the chat about who made this one. I just got the decals on recently, so I just threw a few little decals on there just to kind of spice it up and give it a little bit extra flavor. Tail end. Okay. All right. All right. Well, that's it for today, then, boys and girls. Thank you so much for jumping on here and chatting with me for a little bit. We'll see you on Thursday. Bye, everybody. End stream.